Hello and welcome to this video about FilterForge, where we're going to look on one new filter that I'm kind of creating, playing around with the idea of making galaxies and making like star field right there. So we'll go over each node, see how they work. Usually sometimes I just start one node, I'm going through all of them. In this case, we're already somewhat pre-created, but it does halfway. And the reason why did this halfway, so we'll save a little bit time of the nodes. I'll show how they flow. Also overall give you overview how does everything work together. But what we're going to do is add controls, and this is what I will also want to focus on. What do we need control? Because we become to this too much granular control or not enough. So it's have kind of some ideas and concept behind my own personal approach. What do you think should persons be able to modify and filter and whatnot? If you're not familiar with FilterForge, I will recommend you to go to FilterForge.com. It is an application that allows to create and use custom fields. Currently it's version 11, which includes some animations, looping and other animations you can do in your filters with this. But if you're interested in look on the filters, it is have over 13,000 right now submit filters. So it's a huge collection of any filter you can imagine, almost what created. There is also, I will recommend download my newest filter, Start Field, which is created with novels, everything. But point is this, you can find tons of different filters there. If you're interested more about what is a FilterForge and how it's work, I would recommend go to Geekatplay FilterForge tutorials. You'll see right here I have a large collection. You can support me by purchase those tutorials, or if you want just view, you can go to my YouTube Geekatplay web on a YouTube channel. Just go to playlist and search for the let's go create a playlist. You go to my create playlist and you look for the FilterForge, and you can from here download it, FilterForge playlist. Okay, so this is way, by the way, the FilterForge, if you download it's 30 days free trial, so you can try out after this. And they often have some discounts, so you can purchase if you find it's useful for you. And if I'm right, they have a different couple versions. One is more just user FilterForge, and another it's you can create FilterForge. Personally, I would recommend for you, if you have a time and interest, to create filters, because when they become popular, they assign points to you, and you can redeem those points to get like lifetime free upgrades or some other one. So it's actually very useful to this. Okay, let's go back now to our filter. And first, when you look, it's look complex with a lot of stuff, nodes. And if you're familiar with the node system, you will get used to this. But if you're not familiar with node system on the filters, what is happening? You'll have it one kind of the block component that makes some modifications or get some information. So some block that do something, and it's usually have it input or output. Not every block have it input information. Like for example, right here, the color gradient, we have it some colors can assign inside, but you notice it does not require the connection. Some of them do require connection B. If you have it some nodes that does not have any input connections, that will warn on you, tell you, hey, I need some information that I'm missing there. Just example, let's go right here to set alpha example, and you can see right here it's red. It says, hey, I'm missing something. Some of them will even have an exclamation mark. Okay, but overall in this filter, in this node-based system, usually it's going from left to right. So we have it our start processing from left, and it's keep on going on. Many times with filter Forge, you will have it image input if you process image, and you have it image modifications. It's mean if you have it already some picture you want to modify, you can change, so you input in whatever work with this. This current filter is generated filter, so it does not require any image pass in. It will generate the look from how it's set up. So it's what we're going to do right now, work with this filter. Okay, so let's look what we have here. And you notice I separate in two parts. Right here on the top, this is one that will create us the star fields. So it's like galaxies and stars and all this stuff. So we'll look closer on this one. And a bottom one right here. And this one allowed us to create the galaxy by itself. So if you look on our generation, we have it our star field, and we have it, of course, our hero or galaxy in this case. Of course, we have options to turn off back stars, just have a galaxy itself, or add background to those stars. So let's look closer how it's work. And if you're not familiar with filters, I will try to explain some input and outputs. However, I won't go into deep of details. For this, I would recommend you again going back to my previous videos where I have it explained how each node works, so that may help you a little bit better. Okay, our start, it will be we're using the free garden, so we're creating just with a gradient circle on the middle. This will be our reuse as a particle. And as a reuse particle, I think let's go with star field because it's a smaller, it will be faster. So we have this particle. Next, we're applying noise. And when applying noise, you can see it is add all this kind of separation noise. We can control with the distortion and the roughness. It's what we're doing. And by the way, I should mention from beginning, if you're not familiar with interface, you'll notice on the middle we have our nodes, our like workspace where we can connect those nodes, reposition all the stuff. On the left side, we have our preview for specific node or locate node. And on the bottom, we have our properties for this node, what we're going to modify. On the right side, we have a collection of different nodes that we can use it inside this application. It's already kind of like building Lego blocks. We can just take it, drop, and connect them. Okay, let's go to our properties. So right here, we click on noise distribution, and you'll notice in our properties, we have a distortion roughness. So those is important kind of things. They're important, but not as much. Important initial setup. So what I was saying by initial setup, we can add some roughness, and you can see roughness create a smaller kind of dots. Okay, our distortions, how wide it is spread. And when I look on this, it's look like almost stars. You know, it's like clustering of the stars by the middle. So and this is give me idea. Okay, I can use it this point as maybe my star point or galaxy or whatever is going on. Okay. So next, we actually want to separate this background. And for this, we're going to use it set alpha block, which is take it our source, what is our image is. And in this case, alpha, it is same our source. So we'll just, you can see, extrapolate, remove some white background from this, just to only have dots. And we kind of want this because if we're going to overlay, we don't want overlay with the black elements. Okay, let's go next down the line. You can see right here we have it invert because stars usually they're glowing. We could create a black matter or dark matter, and in some cases I was actually trying to do that in one case, but right here we just need invert from black to white so we can use it. And we'll use it bomber to work with the particles. Notes right here, if we come closer on our bomber, okay, you'll see we have particles assignment and they map it. So if I disconnect this particle, the one of them, let's go back and you can see it switched to the color. Look on the image what we have. We have it now, those particles like different colors. So it's not what we wanted. We want connect. And we'll use all 5 different particles come from same one. They will look different, and you'll notice they're different because we can control on where the position will be or how the distribution with them work, size, rotation, scale. So we can do all this stuff. And a bomber is very great block for this because it's allowed us to add random effect to this, how positioning. Okay, let's zoom out and go down. And you notice right here they have it called chance. So those ones, it's how often they can appear. To control them, we can put by the numbers. However, I want to add additional randomization. So for this, we just take a normal Perlin noise, and it's right on the side in the toolbar. You can see Perlin noise. What I want to do is make roughness, so the roughness will have us a little bit more details added to our things, and contrast, add kind of contrast on the values between dark and black. So what it does, it's take value, evaluate values by x and y positioning on each dot, take value of this and assign to the chance of the if particle will appear or not appear randomly for all 5 hour particles. Of course, if it's white, it's a higher value, so most likely it will appear there or not appear. And this is help us to kind of, if you look right there, see our star appear on some of this in this area. It's a help determine what size and all this just appearance of this. In short words, it just helps us randomize positioning of the stars. So let's go next, see what we have below. It's a background, and background right now I just set up basic black because we can remove it or override with different color. Next, let's go look on the properties, pop up a little bit so we can see our opacity 100%, size we keep it. Don't worry about rotation, offset, and squash in this case, so we'll just leave it right there. Opacity carrots, and this is, you'll notice if we're going all the way down to 0, so they're all equally brightness or opacity on each element. So we can actually take opacity and take down, and you can see how it changed. Some is brighter, some is darker. It's maybe work well. You can play with these. That is allowed us to give it perspective of the how close to stars to us or far away, because we still have the dust or material, dark material inside the cloud, inside the space, and stars that fall away, far have it less brightness. So it's kind of give it us a little bit maybe that dimension of the how far away, inconsistency in brightness. Let's go next down. We have a size chaos, and this is important. Chaos, it's mean randomness, yes. So in here we add our size chaos for our, you can see, so they can have a big small one. We also have the different of the chaos on position, height, V and H, so it's where location as well, and those values will randomly created. And also I use it squash chaos, and this has allowed us this galaxies, so it's always give it perspective. Okay, if we look from far away, we know the galaxy, maybe if it's on the side, it will look a little bit thinner. So it's all what it is. It just give us this perception that maybe some way around that option. Okay, going down, you can see we have our tint color, and tint color, it's overlay. So what's happening here? Let's go disconnect this, our tint, and we'll just take our, and let's go to like reddish. And look what's happening. It is kind of like overlay color over our stars, but we know the stars made different, galaxy made different color, and just make it look interesting. So for this, I want to control and make a different type on the coloring. We could just take the gradients we done before, and we can go to tint. But if we do this, okay, this is our gradient. You can see we have multiple colors. And by the way, transition set and noise. Sometimes if you set like this linear, it's just going straight. Noise will help us create more random kind of look per value. So right here, guardian color, and you'll notice from this we actually connecting to instead lines, because I don't want to have this lines go all over. I just created a gradient, add elevation gradients. We have elevation going from Perlin noise, same what we're using for the chance, okay, and just gradient going to our color gradient. And next we can connect this to the tint. So notice what's happening right here. We have all these different colors distributed in different areas, and when we apply to the stars, it's make the stars look different color in different areas. So I think it's kind of work very well. Okay, a couple other things, kind of pay attention with this bomber. What's happening? It is our color. So we did apply color gradient from elevation color gradient, which is help us to distribute this randomness on the colors. But how do we apply to the stars? We want to be sure we're using modes of the blending specifically on our particles. So our particles set to the screen. It's mean when one particle going other ones, the add lights on the top. It's what properties, how it would look with the lights, what we want them acting. And of course, our tint mode set to the color. We have all these different modes we can apply it. But you notice right here, we're going to like overlay. It's got a color, but it's way offset. It's work a little bit different with the darkness. So we want to go with the least color mode. This way, its luminosity won't be changed. Only what will be changed it is color mode. And if you're not familiar with any computer, anything, so what we produce, lights, colors, we have two main properties, okay, as we observe. Luminosity, which work as a contrast, darkness, and brightness, which is represent for us, give it shapes and all stuff. And we also have it color information. Color information, it is actually very subjective, because we all see colors somewhat similar, but it's different. Some people can see more shades of the colors, different tones of the colors. Some people don't see some of the colors. They maybe have it green and red look similar for some people. And also, of course, see all different colors. So the colors is subjective in some cases. The luminosity is more objective because it's given us shapes. So in this case, what we're doing with the color mode, we just overlay without changing luminosity. So without changing how we perceive the lights, we're just changing some of these colors. So right here, this is our block of creating background. And one interesting thing about it's kind of static. We can change it. One thing, if I want to add modification to this area, it is maybe change randomizations on the star so they won't look exactly the same. I don't want to change color. You could add option for the people to go in and modify those colors, and that can be done if you go on your tool. Right here we have it on the bottom mode, so you can just take a color node connecting to color 1, and now you can control allow the people to change control for this. However, it is such a small and insignificant change happening inside here, just on color tint, people won't notice this. So the one thing what I was saying, they will be same. The stars will position in the same place. So if you want to change background, we need it, give it ability for the people to modify some of this. And you'll notice we have it actually in Bomber. If we go down right here, it's called variations. And look, we have 30,000 different variations we can select from. So the only the difference between all of these variations, we need allowed to user access them. By the way, you'll notice right here, we're working in this set. This is a filter editor. It's not actually when we start kind of using. So in some cases, you know what, let me show you very fast what I was meaning. So I'm going to just go save this filter, and right here's my example. And if we're going to settings, you see we don't have that much. We have some idea of variations that will apply to some variations overall, but generally we have it no other settings. We just have it only one color in the source, which is I'll show you later ways of connecting, but that's all. So let's go back to our editor, and we'll go right on top. By the way, if you have it, FilterForge, use just Creative, I think, Edition. You don't have this option to filter editor. If you have it Studio, you have it options to open and, for example, edit this filter or create new filters. And if you're interested in creating filters, I highly recommend. It will cost a little bit more, but again, it will pay off when you create filters. You posted them, you get reward points. People start using them, so it's kind of very nice about this. Okay, so right here you'll notice we have it. Some changes. We cannot change how the background. So let's go do this. We'll go open in components. Let's go again way below, and in the components we're going to use actually in slider because we need preset how much, and we can click to variations. So in this variation we can set what is maximum value, and remember that right there was 30,000, I think. So we'll just add this value. And as we're doing background, let's go rename it. We want to name properly, so we're doing this. So we'll go background variations. Okay, as we add this new control. Let's go save our filter and we'll preview. We'll go to the settings and you notice right here, look, we have the background variation. So now I can change, you see just background stars changing. Our galaxy still be look same, but our stars is changing, and we have 30,000 variations. I think it's more than enough, just in case you want to do. So just help. I don't think we need to change colors or anything else on the background. Sometimes have too many controls, maybe it will be confusing. So in this case, background is just a drop off that area. Okay, let's go back. And as we're speaking about background, it will follow this green lights. You can see this connecting. We go down, down, down right here, and we have one blender. And this is blending between background, foreground. And of course, because our background is we work against a black color, well, what we needed, it is increase on a white color or light. So we want to be sure it's a blending mode set to the screen. And current opacity. And watch what's happening. If I have my opacity set to the 0, and it's invisible. And notice what's happening. Our stars set as foreground and our galaxy says background. So background is our main, and our slider opacity will affect foreground. In this case, we can foreground and background, we can control it. And remember what I said before, we want to actually allow it to control this as well, just in case how much intensity you want from background. And maybe you don't want background, maybe you just want the galaxy. So for this one, we'll go and we'll take just normal slider control and connect to opacity. By default, it's 30. Let's set default value 200%. And by the way, whatever value you're setting right here, that will be default value when the user is open. So they can modify, but if I set to 0, it's meaning anytime when they open originally, value was set to 0. And if I set 200, it's what it will be. So I'll put it right there. And let's go to, says background opacity. So in this case, we know what will do this. Okay, naming. Okay, so far we added 2 controllers to us, and we already look how the background and stars working. By the way, this noise, why I like to add noise, you can see it's create all this beautiful look. It's not just a glowing, it's almost create like some particles or multiple stars there. It's the reason why this noise was kind of applied. Okay, very fast overview. We have one central creating with 3 garden. We'll add noise or this kind of stars creating, extracting alpha from this, invert to white color, and connecting to our bombers as a 5 particles, so 5 different particles. If you want it, you can try maybe create different type of the elements, and you're not required to connect exactly the same particles. You can create different particles if you want it, but in this case, I don't see reason to use different ones. So the less, also one thing keep in mind, the less nodes we have it, the faster filter will work. Okay, we also create our gradient. We connect to elevation map, which is controlled by Perlin noise. And Perlin noise work in 2 places, one for our color overlay and other ones for the chance where the particles will be displayed. We'll set our also backdrop right here, and you'll notice this is set. Oh, this is kind of, I think I missed that one. Okay, so we have it our background, and if you notice on the background, it's not total clear. It's have it a little bit density, and the reason why, because one color is like right there, slightly bluish, just a little bit brighter by value, just a little bit not as dark, and another one is black. So in combining, we have it our backdrop as a noise, so just have it not equal, like almost maybe dust or something else. You can always just go and create just simple same color, but in this case I think that will work. And right here we added also control for our variation of backdrop, which is kind of randomizing some of the position of the stars, how the squash or other things. And by the way, on the size squashing right here, I think squash was a little bit too much, so let's go like 70, I think around there. 55%. So I think that will work a little bit better. Okay, and be sure we when we do this, we want to change scores rotation curves. So we want to be sure that one is set. So we have it our almost all opacity, size, rotation, H, V, curve, square, almost all of those we want to actually use because we want to add these randomizations. Okay, so that was our background. Let's go look right now on our hero and our galaxy. So right here, our galaxy, and one thing what I'm going to do, it is if you just double left click double times, you'll see right here we have it our eye icon. It means it's lock preview. So wherever I change my nodes, it does not. If I don't have it, my preview will show my selected nodes, and it's good. But sometimes I want to see end result, how that will be affecting. And mostly when we start adding controls for specific areas, we want to see how this control will affect our final results, so we can actually lock this way. Let's go back. So we have right here our gradient that we used before for the stars, but we can reuse for other things. And how I say, if we can reuse some elements, that will be nice, because the less blocks we're using, the faster filter will perform. Okay, and right here we have our point, and this will be our for the galaxy. It's probably will be our center of galaxy and other stuff. So we'll do what creating. And if we look on the galaxy itself, what we want to do here, you can see we have it wings of the galaxy, wherever they spread like stars. Okay, we have it our center, and we want kind of like glowing on a center. But I don't want just glow. I want to also create a different density, some randomization. So we'll look on this. Okay, right here we have it our first. This will be our center galaxy. Okay, and you can, if you go down to the filters, this is our star distribution around. This is definitely stars, kind of giveaway, but that is how we can create those lines going out. See, like right there, there's elements coming out. That is based on our star, of course. And right here we have another distribution. It's for the wings. So let's go actually with those I don't know what they call, arms of galaxy, or you look up on the name for them. But you'll notice we have go down, we have our noise distribution, which is simulating stars for us. We also have simulation on. Okay, so this is our arms, which we're getting from our galaxy, and we can actually change. Let's look on these arms first, closer. So what we have our stars, and you can see we can thickness of those arms. Okay, rotation, I don't think we really care about rotation in this time. Squish, we don't really care about that. We want to put on a 0 right here. There you go, 0. Outer corners and inner corners, that may be affecting, and you can see the thickness, but I don't think we need worried. We need to go smallest in the end. And inner corner, that is how far we'll have it same. I think we'll just leave it everything on 0 right here. Bevel. Okay, so the bevel is kind of interesting, because let's go, we'll click on this to preview, and I'll see right here position of the stars. If we go back to the bevel and see what's happening, they're increasing sharper or less. So I think we don't need to give it full control, but we need going about maybe 75. So the dissipations of this, it's still out of corners. You can still look if you want to create a little bit more closer. So that one, different type of galaxy, maybe you want to give it access. I'm not sure about this. We'll just, for now, we don't need it. We need minimize as less as possible. Okay, and a radius will set preset 100% to all image. I think that almost all what we needed, it's here, and as well black and white color, because it will be using as a mask. And if we look next where they're connecting to cell alpha. So we needed create mask. We need to remove some elements. What we're going to use this first. Okay, let me uncheck this one. Again, that is position for our stars. And we can play a little bit more around with the noise here, but again, it won't be that much different. So we can just maybe give it more to the center, like right here a little bit. Roughness will be smaller or bigger dots, and it's up to you. Again, I don't think those need to be accessed by users. Okay, they nice fine details, but they will maybe overwhelm, and you won't see the dramatic result in the end if you modify them. Okay, like example, let's go just down the line, even right here. If we go in the middle, and you can see we can go to modify distortions, and a little bit affecting center, but not as much, because we'll go overlay with other elements, so we don't need real worry. Okay, in alpha we'll take and we'll separate, so here it goes straight forward. We don't need worried about any from connection from this. And then next we're going to rotate, and what the rotate is, it's rotating around. If we uncheck the element in just rotation, and we'll go with % rotation, you can see it's just rotating around. Those lines is rotating, so we can rotate 360 degrees just around this. But we want twist. Okay, we want to create a twisting element. And what's happening if we assign some like free gradients? Let's go directly to rotations, skip our noise, and you can see what's happening, how they're twisted. So now if we're going and we can say, hey, we want twist on twist. And what's happening with gradient evaluation? So it is taking check for the point, and you can see when it's dark is 0. So almost no rotation in the middle will happen because 100%. But as we're going to the white, more and more rotation will apply, multiple on the percentage. So it's meaning outside will rotate more and more, and we can go like away to this area. Okay, so that is what helping for our galaxy to rotate, go back and forward. Okay, but they're all even. The all problem is each arm it's look even, so we need to add some kind of little bit distortions, and that's where our distortions coming to. So we'll have this node of distortions going from free gradient, and we'll connect now to rotation. So it's meaning rotation won't be total equal. It's all based on our distortion, and you can see how they're changing. The things about distortions that we maybe want to actually control some there. So let's see what will happen here. If we open, connect to our preview, and you know what, maybe I can even make it a bit bigger that way. Okay. And if we're going on our distortions, and let's see what's happening if I take roughness down. You see how they change? The roughness is maybe helping because otherwise we have too many lines, so we don't want to control too much on the roughness. But let's see what the distortions happen. And you can see at this point, they kind of change. So I think we want to give it a little bit control over distortions to our user. Okay. Scale can be same, but I think distortion right there, we can give it control so the people can see how different can be those arms. Okay, and also actually after I'm looking this, I think maybe we should add control for the sides. See, because we can have it more sides, less sides. Yeah, I think we may add control, give it to the sides. And right there 40s look too much. Yeah, let's give it control to the sides as well. And for the control of the sides, we'll just go to add normal slider. Okay, connect to the sides. But one thing right here on the sides, you'll notice it's going 100 to this. And we have it right here, exclamation mark. It's tell, hey, it's wrong. Connection warning because of this. So what we want to do, we want actually remap it. Okay, so let's go use the remapping on this. And we'll maybe set to about 50. Minimum 100, I think that is work. Again, we still have the exclamation because they prefer inner slider. And this will become different. So on purpose, I put a slider so we can see what's happening. And if you have a problem like right here, exclamation mark, just go above and it says right here in slider. So we'll just use it, this intelligent slider, and we'll connect that one instead. Okay. So right here, that will be work a little bit better. But you notice we have it maximum, minimum. We don't need it map it as we did before. We just go inside right here, and let's set maximum value to maybe 50 legs. Okay, so it's meaning 3, and we can go up to 50. I think that will give it more than enough. From 1 and so people can create different amount of the arms. And a 50 maybe even too much. Okay, so let's go maybe to 30. I think 30 will be more than enough. Okay, so like right there, I think that will work. So that is a one connection. And of course a noise, we'll just have a normal slider for this. Okay, we'll go right there and we're going to distortion. Okay, and problem with distortion, if we go check, okay, let's go right here in distortion. See, it's control it. So we'll go inside the control, and I don't know if we can create probably just, let's go leave it as default on the percentage, so from 100. So this will help us to create, you can see, just have it more distortion on the galaxy. I think that will work better. Okay, we added two controllers. So the one, let's go just add galaxy arms, how many we have it. Okay, and arms distortions. Okay, so we kind of know what is this, those two about. Okay, we set here rotation, and rotation we definitely want control how much rotation we want to apply to this. Do one straight, do one more. So for that one we'll go actually just intelligent again controller, and we're going to percentage right there. Okay, on this case we have a maximum value. Let's go to maybe about 100. I think we can do this way, and we should go one direction. Yep, right there, 1 2 3. I'm just looking how far we can go to. I think that is maybe about all. I think 100 is work very well in this case. And we have it again, rotation, that is block I think we set. Okay, let's go right here and we'll go galaxy rotation. Okay, so we set on this rotation. Let's go next, see what we have here. And at this point we have the galaxy, but it's all even, so we're missing something on the middle part. And for this I want to create like galaxy center. Well, again, we'll go take from our free gradient, and remember this is one big size. Yes, I want scale down. So for this we'll use the scale node, which allowed us to reduce size. And because we keep it same size kind of on our galaxy, we don't need really worried about allowed control for the center, because it's always will be same at this moment. Okay, so we'll set this one. Next we add blur, just a little bit more softer spreading around. And after we're going to here from blur, we definitely will use this in some other areas, but we're going down to set alpha. And here's the reason why we set alpha. Notice I have a cell, and a cell is another noise generator. So if we go up, you'll notice as our components, we have it blocks, cells, shaft, purlin. So we have a lot of different ones we can use it. In this case we use purlin, but cells also work very well because they're creating this kind of blobby things. It's very cool if you're using, like, for example, sun, like explosion or some other stuff. What only different I done here, I took it scale a little bit down, pop up roughness. For this one, I'll just scale a little bit down, so we don't need this bigger. With just about right there, I think. Again, create some randomness looking. And if we apply this on alpha with our blur, you can see what we have. We have this kind of cool, like cloud almost, creating on this one. And then next we want to take what we create with alpha and blend with our element before. Notice we don't use it screen, we're using multiply, because right now our main color is just black color. It's a grades of the shades of the gray color, but it's black. It's what we want to do. And here's things. The screen mode will apply light with light. Okay, so it's, if you have it black color, it will be total non-reactive. On this case, don't want to react or change anything. And as we increasing, going white, the value will be multiply, will add it values on this in a screen mode. So multiply is going opposite. So if you have it white, it won't be affecting, but if you have it more black or gray, and we'll add more together, creating this depth. So it's what we have right here. We're multiplying with this. There are other modes you can play with. You can play with overlay, in some cases maybe work, screen mode. This is a contrast based mode, or sorry, soft light. This contrast based. Screen won't work because again it's a brighter, and maybe in some cases you want to do this, but because I know in a far, like we're going to invert this, because remember we want to color. So actually, if I look back, I know where it's a black now, it will be the brightest, because we'll go to invert. So for this one, I want to go to make with brighter, so I will go with multiply, because I want to enhance the darken color there. So that's what we're going. Blend 100%, multiply, so we don't need to give it control on this. This is just a basic go forward. And right here you can see we're inverting, because we need to be sure we want to use the right white color right here with the lighting. Okay, and this is kind of our start right now. Well, it can be alien, but this is our pre-galaxy kind of before we do any other stuff. And of course, this does not affect our rotation. So remember, we have it galaxy rotation 4, which is nothing. And let's make pre-default value maybe just a little bit like around there. Okay, like right there. I think that as well be kind of interesting. And you can see as we're going great, our arm is going far. So I think it's good. Okay, let's go on next. One thing what's happening, you'll notice right here, we have elements coming over. And the problem with when we create a blend and other ones, it starts repeating. We don't need to repeat it exactly here. So what we're going to do, it's a set alpha, which is removing just set alpha only on our color. So our source is black color. It's what our stars will be. And our alpha will dictate by what we have on the screen. So we'll just go and isolate it. That will help us if we try to change something. And I'll show you in a second what we're going to change. So let's go next. And again, we need to invert now because we have our black color. There's our star. Very hard to see, but you can see some right there, black ones. And next we're going to the scale. And the scale, okay, let me go right lock on the blend on this one. And we're going on a scale. And what has allowed us scale to do is to change size of the galaxy. So we can actually create smaller, bigger galaxy, how we want it. And most important, we also on the scale have it squash. And a squash let us squash our galaxy. So you can see it's actually changing. It's not just the cut from edges, it's actually squeezing from the edges. So give it us perspective, like we maybe see side of the galaxy. Okay, or if we want it, we can go all the way straight and look in another areas. Okay, so I'm just going maybe around this area, just kind of creating. And because those two parameters, scale and squash, I think we need to give it access to them. So let's go see what we can connect. Notice on our squash, we have it negative and positive, okay? So we'll go take our slider controller and we're going to connect the slider to the squash. Okay, it's, let's go lock here. We'll go in the squash and we'll try to go one position. It does not seems like working properly at all. You'll notice when we're going all the way down, okay, it's going this way and we'll go opposite way. And it's work this way, and 0, obviously 0 value does not work, so the 100th value does not work. That is meaning we need to remap it, okay? And as the remapping happen, we have it minus maybe 99, okay, and plus 99. Okay, let's see what's happening now after remapping. So we'll go all the way here to 0. Okay, now it does not break because it's not 0, it's only 1. And let's go to another area. And also should have it vertical. Yep, there you go. And that is mapped properly now. Okay, so let's go even squash. Okay, galaxy. And usually I put it different names like Galaxy Squash and other things, so I kind of identify what is related to this. Okay, so with this, and let's now look on our scale. And our scale, it can go from, you'll notice 1, 0, so it's going from 0 to about 2. I think we're same. We need to get our slider, and we're going to connect this to the scale. And the scale, you can see we can go value again 0, 1, so it's not necessarily work very well. So we need it again, go use the remapping on this. And what the remapping does, it actually says, hey, we have this value coming. We have the value from 1 to 100. And let's translate each of those values to what you needed from one position to another. So in this case, we use the remapping. Okay, we'll go click on the middle with the remapping happening. Actually, okay, let me readjust so I know. Okay, that is on the bottom, this on the top. So I'm clicking on a proper. And right here, our minimum value should be maybe 0.3 and maximum 3. Okay, let's try this one. So now we can go inside the scale, and this is our largest this, and will be smallest. I think it's too small. Okay, so let's go back to our remapping and says maybe 1. No, let's go 0.5. There you go. I think this can be smallest, and that 2.5, I think. Okay, so our mapping, it's been any time, so when we change scale, and there you go. I think that will work better. So it'll give it ability to change scale in this case. Notice also, we have right here just galaxy and something on the middle, and this is our center. So notice what we have. We have this center right here, okay, which is make this glowing, because what kind of going with this. The one thing what I notice, okay, it is our scale. We need also kind of a little bit squish, but not so much. So if we're going on a scale, if we're going to add that one to squash, let's see how it will affect. And you notice, okay, let's go to connect to this one, okay. And let's go switch on our squashing to see. Okay, we'll squash more and more. Yeah, we'll squash quite a bit. Ooh, green. Yes, because right here, this value we need modify, not squashing. We don't need squash as much, because if we look right here, we have it minus 99 to 99. But I want a little bit more out, kind of create kind of more glowing. So in this case, you know, maybe we need to do from minus 50 to 50. So what it does, it won't squish as much as other value, but it will provide some change in item. So, and we can control this by same slider, which is kind of cool. So you can see right here, we have it center, and we're going otherwise. And even we're going to 100% squish, you can see we don't squish like line like this one. So it's create for us this glowing effect. And I think with mapping this way, we can a little bit look more accurate how maybe middle will grow. Okay, and let's do same with the actual scale. Okay, because right now, if we're going on a scale and we'll shrink down, you can see how it's glowing too much. Yes. So what we want to do, we want to be sure our scale currently set 0.5 to 2.5. Okay, we'll go right here, select to the scale, and on a mapping on a scale, let's go from what is it, 0.5, we'll go to 0.8. And this biggest one, let's go to 2 maybe. So we'll see. Okay. And you can always expand to 5. Yeah, let's go more than 2. Let's go to 3. Because we want to create, it's kind of more glowing. And I'm not sure if it's worked. Maybe it's too big. Okay, so we'll go. So okay, yeah, I think maybe I created too big on this one. So let's go to 0.4, actually smaller. Okay, and 2. So yeah, we want it a little bit smaller. Okay, now we can go back to our scale, galaxy scale, and there you go. I think, yeah, now it's to scale properly. Okay, let's go to words. It says galaxy. So that is a name for our controller, which people again, so galaxy scale. I think that is work kind of nice. This blender, it's allowed blend between middle point and our arms for the galaxy. I think we don't need to worry about allowed how we want to go. I think that will be just fine. Next, rotation. And this one allowed because it, if you notice, it's only vertical or horizontal. Okay, galaxy, not necessarily this one. So galaxy can also go and rotate. And right here we have our rotation from 0, I think, to 360. So I think that will work. Just normal sliders should work. Okay, I'm going to rotation, and let's go name it galaxy rotation. Okay, and if we're going there, we can set flat, and we can just rotate as we want this galaxy. So we'll just by default set to 0, so it will be flat. Okay, at this point we done kind of a lot of stuff right here. We'll look on our galaxy, how we control it, and we add options. But galaxy is not always just white. It's like right here, color. So we want to take our galaxy and we want to add some color overlay. So it will look a little bit more interesting in this case. And for this, we're going to use the blender right here. We're going to use it. Notice we don't use the necessary color mode, okay? Because color mode will overlay with a lot of black and other stuff. We want to use actually overlay or soft light will work very good in this mode as a blending with colors. Okay, and on this case, we need to create what colors we want to overlay. So we have it our gradient, 3 colors. We have it our elevation, and notice elevation connecting to our center, kind of to our the blurred dot. It's what we created. We could also just take and connect directly from Free Garden. That may work as well. And if we do this way, that may work as also. So you can play around, see how far you want to distribute it. Or if you want, you can create your own different coloring. You know what I mean? Just distribute. So you can even go from this point elevation and just see which one is work more interesting for you. So you can play around with different distribution points. Okay. For me, I'm just going to take again from this point as before, connect. So I'll have just a dot on the middle and it's spread around. Okay. So we'll done this. But we not always maybe want to have it this just red galaxy. Maybe you want to play a little bit with how they're going, you know what I mean, with the coloring, all this stuff. So for this one, let's add ability for the person to change the color of the galaxy. And you'll notice right here we have it color control. So we'll just take it these different colors, and if you already preset some colors, you can just click and modify, change on what color you want it. Okay, and then connect it. Sometimes, okay, let's go add a few more. And the problem is when we connect, we can override. So you can always just go inside, click, and just copy value of this color if you want to preserve from what you created, and just paste it back this value. So we can do that way. You can also just go and change afterwards. So it's up to you, but this will be is default values that will be applied, and we can allow the person to go and change. So let's go, actually we'll change galaxy, so we'll name galaxy here. Okay, and we'll just go to this colors, galaxy colors. So this is gradient. Okay, and what we done again, we'll just give it, this will be accessible by user. Okay, that is our mixer, this is our elevation, so we want from distribution, and it's from center. You can see the colors changing, and we can change them as well. And now we're almost done, so we're going back to our blender, what we have before, and we have it our galaxy already preset. Remember before I was saying this control, this one, and that is a source for our alpha. So we could actually, we don't necessarily need to have this. So if we delete it, this is our color. We'll just going and select it. And the reason is why was there in the first case, so you can see you have some access. Be careful what you put it. Like if I put a color there externally, that will be accessible to the creator, to the user who does not know how filter work, and that's maybe will be confusing because what I'm changing alpha. Instead menu stuff, you can go inside and just change in your controllers. And if you change inside the controllers, that is not published parameter, so it's not accessible. Okay, we're done here. Let's go save it and see what we have so far. So we'll add our properties. Okay, we go on the settings, and look, now we have all our settings set. If you're done with these settings, we can look over background, galaxy. Oh, they're mixed. Okay, they're not looking the same. So let's go back to our filter. And when we edit our filter, if you go in a filter and going to order of the controls, okay, when you open, you can see now we have our controls because currently set automatic, and system best of itself try to readjust them, but I want to group them a little bit differently. So I want to click on a custom, and for example, right here, let's go first background. So I want to move this up. I want background opacity on the top. Next, maybe I want to work with some galaxy scale, some global things on the top, galaxy squash, galaxy rotation, okay, colors, background variations. Of course, we'll go this on the top. So we'll have the backgrounds on the top. Next, go galaxy, and we have 2 galaxy rotations. Okay, let's see which one of them. See, it's kind of helpful us. So let's go ahead and click OK, and where we have it are. So distortion right here, rotation. Oh, this is our actually spinning. So instead galaxy rotation, let's go spin. There you go. That will work a little bit better, more descriptive. Okay, let's go back to order controls. There you go. We have our spin, arms, and also what I'm checking, capital, capital, capital. Look, on arms is not capital. So I just want to keep it to same kind of look. So each word will be capital. No, don't need it. It's just purely for viewing. Okay, controls. We have it right here. Arm distortions, galaxy spin. So this is arms. This is color. Let's go bring this up. Okay, just above the spin. There you go. And colors on the bottom. So when we're done with this, let's go save it. I'll notice right here what's happening. Now we have colors on the bottom. We kind of sort. Now we have it, our opacity of the background if we need it here. Okay. We have it, our variations of this. Galaxy scale. We can go all these different sizes. Okay. We have it also our squash, how much we want to squashing our galaxy. Let's go like about maybe right here. There you go. Rotation, orientation, arms distortions. You can see it's quite a bit actually fun with this one. How many arms do we have it? So we'll just spread a little bit more, and how much spinning we want inside. Okay, and you can actually just go and play a little bit with this. So the one thing what I will recommend, when you create something and you like it, go right here where it says presets and click down, and let's go to add preset. So you'll see it will add additional preset for you. So other people can use this easy with that preset if needed. And how many, like for example, when I create my in a photo, right here I have my photo filter. I used a lot this filter for mine, but you notice I have it presets. Sometimes I have way more presets I'm creating for myself because I'm using. But now when you create your filter, you create presets, and when you send this filter to share with other users, you will need actually to add, will generate some information, generate some of these previews, and it's some previews when generated is just random. It's not necessarily will look great, so it's best if you adjust a few settings and let people to see how you're done. And what's happening with many of those presets, people go over them and says, oh, this is look nice, but I want to modify something. So they don't need to start from beginning. They can just go to base, like right here, and start working from this base, already create something of that forward. Few things you could also add before submitting. Okay, if we go to filter editor again, okay, and that will be description keywords for your filter. So in your filter, you're going filter information, and you can notice right here. So let's go call it Space Galaxy. Okay. After Geekatplay, so I put it on my stuff here. We'll go on descriptions, and here you can describe what it is, what the filter helped about. For example, creating hero type galaxy space. Okay. So for example, we can just set this. Okay, keywords. I also recommend, because people will going to look for what they needed, like galaxy, comma, space. We don't have any nebula or anything. I have it in another ones. Stars, sci-fi, and so on. You can add. One thing I would recommend, I do play, I added my username, because sometimes people search just for my username, and keywords help them faster find what is about, okay, or who creating this. So okay, right here you can see we created this filter. I'm going to actually submit this filter to the FilterForge library, see if they find this interesting, accepted this. And it's also, you can go download it, this, click open, edit, and see how it's work and the time. Okay, again, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you find useful, kind of explain a little bit on the nodes what it's can done. And this is a very, very complex application, so we'll go into more. I'm actually planning to go over some new features in the FilterForge 11, and if you're going down right here, you'll notice it's have some current frame, time, frame count, frame, all this stuff, which allowed us to create animated filters. And this one is cool. Maybe you see like water shimmering. Sometimes people do animation GIFs or other things. So I think now we can create this inside the FilterForge. It was big addition last time. Or falling snow, rain, all this stuff. I think we can do this. So we're going to create some of those filters. But again, hopefully you'll find fun and kind of explorational what we've done here. If you like it, this video, please give it thumbs up, subscribe. It's helped me to blow up this my channel up, my videos, so that more people can see them. And also you can click the notification button to help you know when its new video is out. Again, thanks, and have a fun time to creating.